Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical, your source for Second Amendment news, gun reviews, and more. Today I want to talk about purchasing your first firearm. Or say you just want to only get one firearm, what would I recommend? If I was going to do it all over again, I remember when I went to buy my first gun, and I really had no idea what I wanted. I knew I wanted a handgun, and that was about all I knew. And it would have been real nice to have some information. So that's what we're going to do today. Make sure you're subscribed. And I'm going to give you exactly what I think you should get for your first firearm. So I have a lot of different guns behind me. And I have had a lot of other ones throughout my gun owning history. Some of which I've sold at this point. Things like that, and each one of them has kind of a different purpose. Now some of those purposes overlap, but if I was only going to get one, which is what I thought when I started, and we'll go into that in a separate video about how the gun buying addiction can start, but say you're going into this, you only want to get one gun, or you're just looking for your first firearm, something that'll basically do everything that you think that you need a firearm to do in your life. There are a lot of new gun owners in the last few years, and there's a lot of reasons for that, what's happening in society, and so a lot of people are looking to get their first gun, and probably like me before I got my first one, you don't really know what you need necessarily. There's a lot of different kinds of guns on the market. A lot of people are going to tell you to go with something like this. This is a Ruger 1022, and it's a great gun. It would be a great first gun, maybe if you lived on a farm, something like that, but it's not what I would choose for my first gun. Now, while the 1022 it's a great carbine to get you used to firearms. Normally it comes with like a 10-round rotary magazine like this. You can get these BX25 25-round mags. It's very reliable. It shoots 22 long rifle, and it's a great gun. And there's nothing scary about it. It's not loud. It's got almost zero recoil. But I think for the average person looking for their first gun, a rifle might not be the best idea. And I mean that in as far as larger calibers too, or at least intermediate calibers. AKs, ARs, these things are really cool and they're very useful. They can be perfect for home defense. They can be perfect for like medium to long range shooting. A lot of different things. They're extremely capable weapons. But if you're just going to get one gun, or if it's just your first gun again, I think probably what you want is a handgun, a pistol. If I was going to do it all over again, that's what I would get for my first gun, and it is what I got for my first gun. Now, I think a lot of people will recommend, again, a 22. So this is a 22 revolver. It's a Heritage Rough Rider, single action only. And this gun, kind of like the Ruger 1022, is going to have basically zero recoil. It's going to have a 6-round capacity in the cylinder. But would I choose this as my first gun? No. Now, while cowboy revolvers are very cool, I think what you want is a semi-automatic. In this day and age, you get a higher capacity with semi-automatic. They're very reliable, and they're very capable. And so say you're getting your first gun, you probably want something that you can kind of use all around for home defense, concealed carry, many different things. You go to the gun store and you start looking, and if you're anything like me, you've seen certain things in like movies and stuff your whole life, and this is what you think of when it comes to a firearm or a pistol, a handgun. It's something like this 1911, because it's just the classic handgun. It's what a handgun should look like, in my opinion. But would I choose this as my first gun? Absolutely not. And there is nothing wrong with 1911s. In fact, my favorite pistol at this point is my 2011. This is the Springfield Prodigy, and it's been 100% reliable for me. But what I've found from my research is that is sometimes the exception and not the rule. You might have heard the phrase, you know, when it comes to a 1911, do you want any peanut butter with that jam? Well, I haven't really found that to be the case throughout the different 1911s I've owned. Although, when I did get this one, it took an extremely long break-in period, many hundreds of rounds, and in fact, some polishing with the Dremel to get it to run right. And so I think for the first new gun owner, you don't necessarily want something that you're going to take out and try to go shoot it and be extremely frustrated because it doesn't perform the way you expect it to. 1911s are just a little bit more complicated than like polymer framed striker fired guns. It's an over century old design, hammer fired, single action only, and it's got two different external safeties that you have to worry about. It is more complicated to break down. You have to maintain it to a much higher degree than you do like a modern striker fired gun. And while they do shoot very well, and if you're a new gun owner, if you take something like a 2011 out, you're gonna feel very confident with it because they recoil very little. They come back on target after each shot very quickly. The single action trigger makes it really, really easy to shoot fast and accurate, even with a minimal amount of like skill and experience. So in that way, they are a really good way to get a shooter excited about shooting, someone that's new to it. But again, it's just a lot to deal with for a new shooter that probably wants something that is going to take a little bit less work to maintain and to keep it running well. Which brings me to striker fired handguns. Modern polymer striker fired guns. There are so many of them on the market. I do think that that is what you want for your first gun, but I want to get a little more specific than that. So say you decided, you know, rightfully, this big, beautiful 1911 is maybe not the best idea for your first gun. Well, maybe you're thinking about concealed carrying a gun, and so something like this SIG P365 looks like an attractive option to you. Well, I don't recommend that either for a first gun. Now, this is going to be very comfortable, easy to carry, whether you go in the 3-4 o'clock position, or if you want to appendix carry, which again, I think is something that you need to kind of get used to. Appendix carry, it takes a little time and experience to get comfortable with it. But you're going to have an easier time carrying and concealing a micro 9mm like this. And these days, you know, there are a lot of good double stack, reliable micro 9s on the market, and they're fantastic pistols. But if you're new to shooting and you take one of these out to the range, you're not going to have a great time. A smaller gun is more difficult to shoot because there's less mass. There's a lot more felt recoil. It's harder to be accurate with them. You have a smaller sight radius, and you're just going to feel like you can't hit the target at all if you haven't shot a lot before and you get something like this. So even if you're looking to concealed carry, I wouldn't start with a micro 9. A lot of people are going to recommend a Glock for your first handgun, and that is a really good recommendation. It's still not what I recommend for your first gun, but I have some bias, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But something like this is a bone stock Glock 19X, and this is a very, very good handgun. It's going to be reliable, boringly reliable. Glocks are known to just plain work, and they do. They're very simple, and, you know, they are what they are. I don't think that they are the best looking guns, and I don't think that ergonomically they're the best feeling guns either. And generally, there's other guns that I tend to shoot better than I shoot Glocks. Although, if you want something that's going to work and work every single time, a Glock is a very, very good way to go. Now, would I recommend this 19X for your first gun? Maybe not. The only reason for that is this. I really like the 19X. It gives you a 4-inch barrel, compact size slide and barrel with a full length grip with 17 and 19 round magazines. So you get a great capacity with it. And I think that it would be a really good first home defense pistol. It'll be a great gun at the range, but it's pretty big to try to conceal carry this. This is the part of your gun that is going to print when you're carrying. And printing is basically your gun showing through your clothing and defeating the whole purpose of concealed carry. Now, in the same vein as this 19X is like my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Now, this was my second gun I ever got. The first one that I got was a Ruger Security 9. And I actually think that it was a really good choice for a first gun. It's not what I recommend knowing what I know now. I did have a couple small reliability issues with it, mainly because I didn't really know certain things yet. I tried to run steel-cased ammo in it and had a problem with that. With good brass ammo, really no issues, and Ruger is a great firearms manufacturer. But I ended up getting this M&P 2.0 as my second gun, and to me, it's a much better gun. Now, when it comes to something like the Glock, this M&P to me, for one, I think that it looks better. I just think that the aesthetics of it are more pleasing to the eye, which, let's face it, looking cool is important. But also, I think that the ergonomics are better. So these M&Ps have the same 18-degree grip angle as a 1911 does, which is just a very natural feeling grip. The gun points very naturally, at least for me. Now, a lot of people shoot Glocks and they get used to Glocks and the more extreme grip angle of them, and they can shoot those very well, and I can too. But I've got to admit, I do think that this feels better in my hand. But like the 19X, this is a full-size gun. It's got a 17-round mag capacity. It's got a 4.25-inch barrel. With this light and optic on it, this thing is pretty big. Now, while this will be ideal as like a bedside gun, you know, someone knocks on your door or tries to break through your door at 2 in the morning, this is about an ideal gun to grab for something like that. Now, what do I really recommend for the first-time gun buyer? I recommend the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 Compact. So what that is it's this gun, but it is this size. It's Glock 19 size for Glock comparison, because everyone compares the size of guns to Glocks and their different models. So this is a Gen 3 Glock 19 clone. Now, this one has a threaded barrel, but normally a Glock 19 is going to have a 4-inch barrel, the same size as this sliding barrel, but it's going to have a shorter frame. So if you look at the two of these together, you can see there how much more of that grip sticks out below from the 19X to the 19 size. You can do that with the Smith & Wesson M&P as well. And you see how much bigger that grip is. And so the advantage to having something this size is that when you shoot it, it still feels like a full-size gun in its shootability. You still get a very decent magazine capacity of 15 rounds plus one in the chamber, but you get a size that you can use for concealed carry if you want, and be confident that you're not printing in any extreme way. But then you also get a gun that you can put a light on when you get home at night, use it as your home defense gun, and it'll work great for basically all of your probably perceived as a new gun firearm needs. Glock 19 is what most people are going to recommend for someone's first gun. The reason why I say the M&P 2.0 compact is for a couple reasons. These M&P 2.0s have been proven to be just as reliable as Glock. And that is saying something, because Glock is known for reliability. It's what they are. They are boringly reliable, which is a good thing. These M&Ps have been proven over the years to be just as reliable. But in my opinion, they just look a little better. They feel a little better. For me, they point more naturally. And you get a lot of the same benefits that you would if you get a Glock, meaning that you have tons of aftermarket support. You could switch out your sights. They now have the core models where you can put different optics on them. They come with the plate system for it. All of that. They have a Picatinny rail so you can put a light on if you want. You can change out the triggers. So this was one of the older M&P 2.0s with the hooked, articulating trigger. That trigger was garbage. Well, stock Glock triggers are kind of garbage too. They're squishy, they're kind of heavy. The M&P trigger, kind of similar, is pretty gritty, but you can install an Apex trigger relatively easily and then have a gun with an extremely good trigger. Very smooth take up, nice crisp break, short audible tactile reset, and if you just do that, you're going to have a very capable firearm. But you get one of these in the compact size with, just a little bit shorter of a grip, a little bit shorter of a slide and barrel. It's going to be a gun that you can comfortably carry concealed as well. So you can basically have one gun to do it all for you. Now, do I think that you're probably, after you buy the one, going to end up getting one more and one more and one more and one more? I do, because guns can become an addiction. They're a lot of fun. And obviously it's something I enjoy. I've, acquired and built a bunch of them and even, built up a YouTube channel about them. And a lot of people find that to be the same case for them. One gun leads to 2, leads to 3, leads to 10. And it is what it is. But I know that when you're first looking to get your first one, you don't necessarily think that that's how this thing is going to go for you. You're looking for one gun to do it all. And I really do recommend the M&P 2.0 compact. It's this gun, this size. You're going to be able to find holsters for it very easily. It's going to run any kind of 9mm ammo you can find. I like to use, these days I've been training with this AAC ammo. You can get them from Palmetto State Armory's website at a very, very good price. It's like $26 for 100 rounds. And then load it up with something like Federal HST or Spear Gold Dot, and you have a very capable firearm for self-defense, concealed carry, home defense. Now, some people are going to tell you, you need a 45, you need knockdown power, brother. Well, modern defensive ammunition, 9mm has been shown to be just as effective as 45 ACP, but you get more rounds in your magazine, so you get a higher capacity. You get less recoil, so you can put rounds on target faster. And like I said, it turns out that with modern ammunition technology, the rounds perform about as good anyway. So that is the caliber that I recommend when it comes to your first handgun. Get a 9mm. You're going to be able to find ammo at a very reasonable price. It's going to be available everywhere, and it's going to be reliable. It's going to be good. You're going to be able to confidently know that it will, stop a threat if you need it to. And it's going to be something where you can afford to go to the range and train and shoot through a lot of rounds without it costing you an absolute fortune. Now, there are a ton of other great handguns on the market. So go to your local gun store, support your local gun store, put a lot of them in your hand. For me, I found that the M&P 2.0 fit my hand very well. It feels great for me. And I've shot this gun very well since the day I bought it years ago. Now, you might find Walther PDP is the one for you. Or, there's a lot of them. I'm not going to name every freaking gun company out there. SIG makes a lot of great guns. Like I said, Glocks. If you feel like that's the one that fits you right, get that. But make sure you get a gun from a reputable manufacturer that is known for reliability and has a long enough track record that you know that it's something that you can trust. And again, that's why I go back to the M&P. It's a gun that I know that I can trust. I hope you found this video informative if you're looking to buy your first gun, or even if you're looking to buy your 20th gun. You're looking for the right dual handgun for you. I hope that this helped you. Again, like I said, get something from a trusted manufacturer. I recommend either probably a Glock 19 or an M&P 2.0 compact. These are examples of those, but these are both more full-sized versions. Get something that you can conceal and carry comfortably, but also use for home defense and feel very confident with. Something with a good round capacity, something that is solid. And your local gun store should be able to help you with that. They have a lot of knowledge, hopefully. Mine does at least. Guffey's Gun and Pawn. Always want to shout out those guys because they're fantastic. Please subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. I have a link down below to my Patreon. And anybody that joins that, there's going to be a giveaway soon. I will announce that here shortly. I'm going to set up exactly what it is. But I'm trying to build up that Patreon to help fund the channel so we can get more good stuff to review, give you guys more great information, more entertainment. So please check out the Patreon. I'm also going to start posting all of my videos on Patreon before they're released on YouTube, so you will get early access to everything. Other than that, leave me a comment. If you are an experienced gun owner, let me know what you think that you would get for your first gun if you could do it all over again. I would love to get everyone's opinions because, again, this is just my opinion, but it's an opinion based on experience. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.